for science!
What is going on, guys? It is Willie Dills here again. Final episode of our 5-part series, One Night in Karazhan card reviews. That's right, part 5 is here. We're going to talk about the last 9 cards, all the rest of them, the cards that we haven't gone over yet. And there's some pretty interesting ones in this little 9-card set that I'm going to bring up. So let's get right into it. Arcane Giant. The Arcane Giant is a 12 mana epic 8/8. And it is a neutral. And it reads, cost 1 less for each spell you've cast in this game. So we've got Mountain Giants, Molten Giants, Frost Giants. Now we've got ourselves an Arcane Giant. And I think this one is poised to be really, really good. New Giants, of course, means that decks will revolve around it because Giants are very powerful cards. 8/8s, that's, when 30 is the total amount of health you can have. 8/8 chunks you down pretty quickly. So I'm guessing we'll see a Yogg Giants deck, Miracle Rogue Giants, Freeze Mage with Giants again. You remember the Molten Giants? So yeah, there's going to be definitely a bunch of new Giant decks that are going to come out because of this card. One will probably come out on top of the other one. And once we figure out what that is, you will likely be seeing that deck as a new top or mid-tier deck that kind of makes it in the rotation. Or it just really helps things like Yogg Druid and Miracle Rogue and all that kind of stuff just become a little bit better. I mean, imagine playing this card for 1 or 2 mana and then concealing it in a Miracle Rogue after you've drawn a bunch of cards. Fantastic finishing possibilities there. I mean, right now you're seeing Questing Adventure put into Miracle Rogue because they're looking for cards that can do what this card kind of already does, which is just be a big body, just be a huge body for a fairly cheap price. And that's going to happen with this card. This card is going to be real good. And now we've got the Wicked Witch Doctor, which is a 4 mana 3/4. It's a shaman card, and it is a common card. And it says, whenever you cast the spell, summon a random basic totem. A basic totem. So only one of the 4 original totems that you can get from the hero power will come out of this guy when you cast the spell. So if you're hoping for Totem Spell Shaman to be top tier, I've got some bad news. That is not going to happen. But I do guarantee you this. People were going to try this card. They will try to make some sort of Totem Flood Spell Shaman with Bloodlust and that kind of thing, and maybe that'll work. I'll say this. I'm really glad that Shaman didn't get 3 disgustingly gross, sick cards because they got a lot of really good stuff already. They have plenty, so we don't need to be giving them more just insanely OP cards. I'm glad they're pushing them towards some new type of archetype, and maybe we'll see in the next set if this card suddenly starts to make sense. But for now, you can either put in the 4 mana 7/7 into your Shaman deck, or you can put in the 4 mana 3/4 that gets you a 1/1 sometimes when you cast the spell. Yeah. It's a pretty easy decision at this point in time. This is going to be a bad card. And I think in Arena, this card is absolutely garbage terrible. So you're not going to be seeing a lot of play from the Wicked Witch Doctor at this moment. Things may change. Okay, we're moving on to the Swashbuckler. The Swashbuckler is a 1 mana 1/1. It is a rogue minion. It is a common. It has a battle cry that reads, add a random class card to your hand from your opponent's class. Undercity Huckster style. Burgle style, random card from your opponent's class goes into your hand. It is a battle cry, so you're getting the card right away. Now, if you're going to play Milkshake Burgle Rogue, well then duh, you put this card in. I mean, that's just a given. But I'm guessing that this card is maybe going to be closer to a fun card just for that type of a deck. That being said, I'm going to go ahead and argue for it right now. The argument that I have for it is it's a 1 mana 1/1. And on Rogue, a lot of the times on turn 2, you just dagger up. And a 1/1 being there on turn 1 already gives you a much better chance of being able to trade into something on turn 2 with the dagger, getting you full value. Also, a 1 mana card enables combos, which can be really great for Rogue. And the fact that you can just pick up an extra card on turn 1, it's like you play this and you just cycle card. And yes, you get a random card. It could be terrible, but it could be good too. And you just guarantee that I played a card, I did something, and I got another card in my hand. So I think you will see this in Arena, and I think you will see this in Rogue decks. But you know, the deck that they're trying to push us towards is more of a fun base deck. This card, though, similar to Undercity Huckster, may just end up seeing play because it just kind of works out for you. Yeah, sometimes it gets you a bad card, but it's doing something proactive and drawing a card. That's generally okay. And like I said, with the dagger already there, being able to get the 1 extra damage off of this minion could totally help you get that early board control you're looking for. I think this card might see play. Absolutely. The Avian Watcher. The Avian Watcher is a 5 mana, 3/6 minion. It's neutral. It's rare. It has a battle cry that reads, if you control a secret, gain +1/+1 and taunt. So if you have a secret that you are controlling at the moment you play it, it will become a 4/7 with taunt for 5 mana. And we have previously seen a 5 mana 4/7 is Fugan, but that really didn't see much play outside of Reno Lock that was hoping to get the Stalag and Fugan combo thing going. In a secret-based deck, yeah, you probably play this. You know, you play a bunch of secrets and you're looking for minions that benefit from that and round that out. So yeah, sure. But that deck has to be good on its own because this card doesn't make that deck good. So this is just a card that you're using to kind of round that deck out and give you some minions. But unless that deck actually just works on its own, you know, this card doesn't matter at all. This card almost doesn't really even need to exist. In Arena, it's a rare. You won't see it very much. But if you have a bunch of secrets already picked, which you usually don't, then you might find a reason to grab this card. But yeah, I think this is a just okay card, but not one that excites me or makes me feel like a secret deck is going to be awesome. If secret deck somehow is really good on its own anyway, yeah, sure, maybe. But I, right now, don't see that happening. So this card is just kind of it's an also ran card, right? Just kind of exists. It's fine. The Arcane Anomaly. It is a 1 mana 2/1 neutral minion. It's common. And it reads, whenever you cast a spell, give this minion +1 health. So you could say it's reverse Mana Worm, but Mana Worm has the 1/3 body to begin with, and growing in attack power is just much scarier than growing in health and always having this 2 attack. Card is fine. It's just okay. It's really hard to judge where this card's actually going to land as far as usability, but I'm going to guess not very usable. Maybe you could see it in a druid because you've got some early game spells. You got living roots and things like that. You can innervate something else out, and this is growing at the same time. But I think if I'm deciding which 1-drop to put in my druid deck, I choose the one that's already a 2/2 rather than 2/1 that I then have to do something to make it grow. Maybe Priest. Priest could put a power word shield on this, maybe. And get a 2/5. Is that what it would be? 2/4. Be a 2/4. But yeah, I don't, not a game changer, I don't think, in any deck. But it's also like not complete garbage, right? So I don't really know where this card falls. But the thing is in a constructed environment, you need cards to be really good, not maybe good, probably bad, maybe somewhere in between. You know what I mean? Like you need something that you know is really good to take up one of those 30 slots. And so to me, this card probably doesn't find a way into very many competitive decks. You may see it picked in Arena because 1-drops can be very good, and sometimes you'll have a 1-drop that helps you out because it grows a little bit. So hey, there's that, and it's a common card, so people will pick it there probably. But yeah, not really an exciting card, and yeah, it might surprise us at some point and be part of a deck that we haven't thought of, but I just, right now, I'm going to put this in the meh. Not very excited about this card. The Nether Spite Historian is a 2 mana 1/3. It's a neutral card, and it's a common. And it reads, Battle Cry. If you're holding a dragon, discover a dragon. So I really like Discover, and I really like dragons. So I really like this card. I like this card a lot. I think it's not overly powerful or super weak. It's just kind of like right there in the middle as far as power level is concerned. And I think it's fun and dynamic. It gives you some more early game options in dragon decks. You kind of prefer to be playing above the curve in dragon decks, but sometimes there's just, you know, not a lot of early game options that are very exciting, and this might just give you that little bit more that you need. I'm guessing you might want to put this, though, into a deck where you can play some dragons and also play some buff cards. So maybe this is like a dragon paladin card. over like a Dragon Warrior card. But in Dragon Warrior, I don't mind playing 1-3 for 2 because I also have things like Execute, Whirlwind, the Battle Ragey things to do a little extra damage. The 1-3 body can end up becoming useful. So yeah, sure, maybe. I'm not going to say for sure that this goes into a bunch of Dragon decks, but I really enjoy this card. I think this is cool, and I'm excited to try out lots of different classes with dragons and see where you can find the funky thing no one thought of. And I think a card like this definitely enables that. The Discover mechanic has proven to be very powerful already. I'm glad we're seeing more of it because I really like it. The decision-making process along the way, the feel that every game is slightly different from the last game you played, I think that's really enjoyable gameplay, and one of the things that's making Hearthstone really shine right now. As far as adding new mechanics, I think Discover, they hit the nail right on the head. Please, keep the Discover cards coming. Love it. Okay, let's get to some of these legendaries that we haven't talked about yet. Prince Malchezaar is a 5-mana, 5/6 demon. Neutral, it's a legendary. It reads, when the game starts, add 5 extra legendary minions to your deck. So this card is basically really bad, and I know a lot of you have probably already heard why it's really bad, but for those of you who are not aware, I'm going to go over it one more time. So in Hearthstone, if you could build, all decks are 30 cards, but if you could build a deck that was 20 cards, you would actually probably win a lot more with that deck. Because you would have stronger cards on average, you would draw those stronger cards more often, and you would just kill people with those 20 cards. Most games don't actually go into the last 10 cards of your deck. So just having a lot of cards in your deck doesn't mean the deck is better. Like, it doesn't do anything. In fact, adding more cards to the deck, especially random cards, dilutes your deck. Potentially with bad legendary cards, which just makes the deck worse. So it gives you less chance to draw win conditions, less chance to draw removal options, less chance to draw the strong minions you want to draw. And so that means that the card just in and of itself is just a bad card. However, I mean, come on. This card is fun as hell. And I will definitely be trying to make some decks with it. Because you know what? I don't hate fun. I just don't. I like fun. I enjoy fun. I like playing fun decks. I will play this card in something and I won't expect much of it. But I will have fun. So if you're looking for fun, this card, right up your alley. It's also great for newer players who don't have a lot of legendaries, who just want to feel like they can play with some legendaries, right? So not going to be a card you're going to see in a lot of high-level tournament play. But, dude, people are going to mess with this on the low ranks of the ladder. And just don't feel shame if you just want to play this card because you think it's fun. I get it. I agree. Barnes is next on the list. Barnes is a 4-mana 3/4. It's a legendary. It's a neutral minion. It has a battle cry. Summon a 1/1 copy of a random minion in your deck. So this card is cool as hell. There's so many awesome combo decks that can make use of this effect. And I feel like in a way this card makes me feel, it reminds me of like Bran, when Bran first came out, Bran Bronzebeard, doubling up your battle cry effects, right? It's just, you see the card and you immediately can start to think of all these different ideas that you want to try. And that's really exciting. I love cards like this. So a couple quick ones, obviously, like Blood of the Ancient decks. Play a Blood of the Ancient that comes out of Barnes for free, and then you can play another Blood of the Ancient and make an Ancient one 30/30 on like turn 5 or 6 or whatever. You can play it in Malygos decks. You can get a Thaurissan or something, making all your cards cheaper early on. And of course, then you play another Thaurissan later because it was just a copy of that. All that kind of stuff. And then, Silence Priest. So Barnes brings out a minion. And similar, I don't know if you guys know that Herald Village also works this way, but the 1/1 copies of the minions that it makes, if you silence them, they go back to their normal stats for that minion. So let's say Deathwing gets pulled out. That was I think the example Ben Brode used when talking about Silence Priest. You silence the 1/1 Deathwing, it becomes a 12/12 again. So cool stuff, man. Very cool stuff. I like the ideas that can be done with this card. I always enjoy cards that kind of bend and break the rules a little bit to make things that weren't possible before suddenly possible. I think that's a lot of fun. So while I don't know if those decks are going to be top tier at all, this card is just really cool. And look, at the worst, it's a 4/5 for 4 over 2 bodies, right? A 3/4 and a 1/1. Not bad. Really not bad at all. This is a cool card. The final card that we are going to be talking about is the Curator. It's a 7 mana 4/6 minion. It's neutral. It's legendary. It has Taunt and a Battle Cry. Draw a Beast, Dragon, and Murloc from your deck. So potentially you can draw 3 cards, although one will be a Beast, one will be a Dragon, and one will be a Murloc. So again, we got another really sweet card here to finish things off. And I think this card will be great in Reno decks. I think this card will be great in a deck that can utilize a couple of good Dragons, a couple of good Beasts, a couple of, well, probably just Sir Finley. But, you know, I will try the Beast, Dragon, Murloc deck with all the Menagerie cards. I will try that. But this card doesn't need that type of deck to work. This card, I think, just works by just putting in, you know, things like a Kodo or Stranglethorn Tiger, and then putting in Azure Drakes, and then putting in Sir Finley, and then just knowing that on 7 mana I can draw maybe 2 cards, maybe even 3, even if it's just 1, a 7 mana 4/6 with Taunt that draws 1 card. Not that terrible. So I think this card can, and you know what kind of card you're going to get too, right? So drawing like an Azure Drake out of your deck means that you'll be able to play an Azure Drake pretty soon and draw more cards out of your deck. So yeah, this card I think has a lot of potential to do good things for some decks out there. And people have made the comparison to old school Ancient of Lore. That was a 7 mana 5/5 that drew 2 cards. I think it definitely is in that vein. I mean, it's a 7 mana 10 stats worth of stuff with Taunt that could potentially draw 3 cards, and they're very specific cards that are being drawn. I love this card. I think it's going to be great. I think it's a very cool concept, a cool idea. And while the other thing that I was talking about, all the Menagerie stuff together, may not actually end up being a thing, I think this card still finds its place in a bunch of different types of decks. Just decks that want to be drawing through and controlling the board. Greedier, slower decks, probably in most cases, not really tempo decks. But yeah, good card. Very good card. So guys, that does it for the entire 45 card set. We spent a lot of time talking about these cards, and it's all very exciting. Now it's time to get in there and play with these damn cards. So please, if you want to watch me, I will be experimenting with all these cards. If you want to watch me play, twitch.tv/WillieDillsSF. I will be streaming a ton of Hearthstone and streaming a ton of these new cards and trying different things out. So please come join me over there. Feel free, leave comments below. I'm loving the feedback that I've been getting. Some of you guys have been telling me that you disagree with some of the stuff, or that you agree with some things, or you have different ideas about cards. Please keep that coming. If you disagree with me, feel free to tell me. I don't mind it. I love it. Get the conversation rolling. Leave comments and share this video too. Subscribe to the channel. Be active in my channel. I want to hear from you guys. I want you guys to be talking back to me because I really enjoy that interaction. Also, if you want to check out the other videos, I will be linking everything in the description here so you can check out all 5 parts of this series. There's a lot of other videos on this channel, so I encourage you to go ahead and click on the videos tab and browse around. And if you like the content, please check out my Patreon, patreon.com/WillieDills. It helps support this kind of content continuing to happen and me being able to do this on a daily basis. So thank you guys for watching. I'm really, really excited for Karazhan. I hope you guys are too. And I love you. I'll see you for the next set of videos, whatever that may be. All right. Take care and have a great day.